If Marcus Aurelius had a credit card, he would have burned it at the altar of his own discipline. This was a man who ruled the mightiest empire on our planet, yet still chose to sleep on the floor, eat simple food, and remind himself every single day that everything, including wealth, is temporary. Now imagine dropping him into the city center of the 21st century, surrounded by buy now, pay later offers, algorithmic ads, and endless dopamine loops. He would look around and ask the one question we've forgotten. How did freedom become this expensive? We live in a world where financial chaos is considered normal, a world where personal debt is ordinary, and discipline is seen as outdated. Yet 2,000 years ago, one of the most powerful men in history wrote a personal guide to remaining calm, rational, and grounded in the face of disaster. He didn't write it for likes, followers, or fame. He wrote it to survive. That book became Meditations, and within its pages lies a financial mindset more radical and more necessary than ever. Marcus Aurelius was born in 121 AD into enormous privilege. He had access to the best teachers, inherited wealth, and ultimately the imperial throne itself. But instead of becoming a tyrant, he became a philosopher king. Influenced by the Stoics, a school obsessed with virtue, moderation, and logic, Marcus trained himself to expect hardship, accept loss, and detach from the illusion of control. He endured plagues, betrayal, war, and economic collapse, yet his writings remained steady, focused, almost cold in their clarity. His goal was not a comfortable life. It was sovereignty of the mind. At the peak of the empire, when Rome's rule stretched across continents and its streets overflowed with luxury from all corners of the world, Marcus chose simplicity. He never stopped warning against excess. He distrusted praise. To him, true wealth was the ability to live with integrity even when the world fell apart. It's no surprise that modern Stoicism is rising again. But here's the problem. We post the quotes on Instagram, yet ignore the economic engine Marcus was protecting himself from. And that engine is far more dangerous today, because today's system isn't just chaotic. It's calibrated to keep you financially and psychologically off balance. Personal debt in the U.S. is at an all-time high. Credit card interest rates have passed 20%. Financial literacy is lower than ever, and every digital platform we use is designed to trigger spending, comparison, and dopamine-driven distraction. The result? A society that tries to look rich while living paycheck to paycheck. A generation more anxious, less financially secure, and more easily manipulated than any before it. And a financial system that survives not by creating real wealth, but by monetizing your emotional instability. This is where Stoicism becomes revolutionary. It's not about suppressing emotion. It's about refusing to be ruled by it, especially in your financial life. The Stoics taught that although we cannot control external events, plagues, markets, wars, we can control our response. Marcus reminded himself daily that death, loss, and poverty are natural. That desire is the root of suffering. That self-control is the foundation of freedom. These were not vague ideas. They were tools, protection against chaos. And if we apply them today, they will undoubtedly still work. Imagine approaching your money as Marcus approached actual power. Imagine not chasing status symbols, not panicking during market crashes, not feeling the need to upgrade your phone just because the actors in the ads tell you to. Imagine realizing that financial freedom comes not from having more, but from needing less. This mindset, goes beyond minimalist living. It is a direct threat to the modern economy, because if too many people stop over-consuming, the system collapses instantly. Our economy runs on credit, consumption, and the endless expansion of desire. The idea of enough is a threat. Moderation is unprofitable. And yet Marcus practiced exactly that. He saw luxury not as a reward, but as a test. He believed comfort softens people. Entitlement corrupts the soul, and the only wealth worth having is the kind that cannot be taken away. Today, most people define wealth by material possessions: the car, the house, the bank balance. Marcus would have called that an illusion. He'd remind us that real wealth is the ability to remain unshaken when those things disappear. And that ability has become extremely rare in a world where a single market dip can trigger mass layoffs. A single interest rate hike can ruin a household budget. And a single Instagram scroll can convince you that you're a failure unless you buy something new. We are not only financially over-leveraged, we are emotionally exposed. We treat abundance as normal and discomfort as a mistake. But for the Stoics, discomfort was training. Marcus practiced voluntary hardship, sleeping on hard beds, skipping meals, reminding himself that pain itself wasn't the enemy. The enemy was dependency on praise, on comfort, on outcomes. Now imagine applying this to your financial life. Imagine being prepared for volatility instead of reacting to it. Instead of clinging to market predictions, you build cash reserves, minimize unnecessary expenses, and learn to live with less. You defeat your anxiety not by making more money, but by dismantling the belief that money will cure it. You measure success not by net worth, but by inner peace. That is Stoic finance. And it might be the only kind of finance that survives when the world spins out of control. Look around. Inflation has returned with a vengeance. Governments continue to borrow beyond their limits. Central banks are trapped between printing money to avoid recession and raising interest rates to control the consequences of printing too much. Meanwhile, most citizens have no real savings, no protection, no clarity, only a vague belief that someone up there knows what they're doing. But if history teaches us anything, hope is not a plan. Marcus wouldn't have waited for a rescue team. He wouldn't have blamed the system. Even if the system was broken, he would have started with the only thing he could control: himself, his mind, his habits, his expectations. And that is exactly where your power begins as well. You don't need to be a financial expert to gain real freedom. You need clarity. What do you truly need? What are you afraid of losing, and why? What are you chasing? And is it even yours? Most people don't ask themselves these questions. They play the game designed for them, and the system loves them for it. But you're not here to be most people. You're here because some part of you feels something doesn't add up. A part of you realizes the version of success sold to you benefits everyone but you. Maybe what you need isn't another app or another side hustle. Maybe what you need is ancient wisdom, spoken softly, practiced daily. When markets shake, breathe. When prices rise, simplify. When the feed tells you to consume, decline. When your fear tells you to react, don't. Because in the end, financial freedom isn't about what you accumulate. It's about what you possess internally. Marcus Aurelius never had a credit card, but he knew the cost of being owned by your desires, and he knew the reward of mastering them. That is real wealth. That is real freedom. And that is how you survive chaos, ancient or modern. When the whole order flips upside down, will you advance your existence, or will you lose it like every ordinary person?